And while perhaps, and I emphasize perhaps here, because it's not a given, but perhaps Republicans can enjoy some breathing room going into next year's midterm elections. I can qualify that by saying they got to get tax reform through, however, and repeal and replace. Democrats, on the other hand, they are being forced to do some soul searching since their strictly anti-Trump platform isn't translating into any kind of victory. The president gloating over Twitter today saying, quote, the special elections are over and those that want to make America great again are 5-0. All the fake news, all the money spent equals zero. Joining me right now, radio host Ethan Bearman, and Joe Walsh. Joe, I'll start with you because, yeah, I mean, they spent a ton of money, most expensive House race ever. What is it that the Democrats just keep continuing to miss here in that, you know, you can send all the Hollywood stars you want, you can spend as much money as you want, Joe, but if you are not connecting with the basic message of economic prosperity, you're never going to win.
Hey, Trish, that's their problem. That's the Democrats' problem right now. They do not connect with regular Americans. Look, to what you said a few minutes ago, this was a huge victory for Trump. This district was a Republican district. The Republicans should win. But, Trish, it was not a Trump district.
Right.
And Karen handled the Republican candidate overperformed Donald Trump. So what does that mean? That means a lot of Republicans stayed with Donald Trump. This is a really big victory for him. And Trish, again, what you said, I hope this gives a shot in the arm to Republicans in D.C. to get off of their backsides and cut taxes and pass tax reform.
Yeah, you know, that's why I said it's not giving them, I don't think, any kind of window in that they can sit back and relax and say, all right, everything's hunky-dory. It actually should be a message that, look, you know, we got these folks right now, and they're believing in what we're doing. But if we don't actually come forward with anything, we're going to have a different set of problems on our hands. But, Ethan, let me go over to you for a moment and just, you know, I don't understand why they keep running the same playbook. I mean, you got to be more than anti-Trump, don't you? You've got to stand for something because Americans want to vote for something, not against.
Well, that's actually a good point. And what's most important here to remember is politics in a congressional race, and Joe knows this very well, is just like real estate. It's by the zip code. You need to be talking to what the people in the Georgia 6th District are concerned about. So maybe in San Francisco and Los Angeles, anti-Trump plays very, very well. But in Georgia 6th, you have to have a message for the people in that district to connect with them. I think that the Ossoff campaign kind of lurched around a little bit. It was anti-Trump, then he was a blue dog Democrat. They didn't stay on a consistent message, and I think ultimately that's what hurt them.
You know, neither one of these candidates, let's be honest, right? Neither one of them were extraordinarily compelling. He was the 30-year-old filmmaker with lots of Hollywood ties and Hollywood money that was pouring in. He also, by the way, had Nancy Pelosi, who turned out to be more of a liability. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I think it also speaks volumes in that, you know, Karen handled... She wasn't lighting the world on fire a la Donald Trump style, but still, when push comes to shove, Joe Walsh, it's this message of, you know, we need to move forward, we need to create jobs, we need to lower taxes, we need to repeal and replace Obamacare that continues to sell.
Yeah, and you know what, Trish? It proves the average Republican voter in this district is smart enough to differentiate between Trump and, say, the Republican candidate. Again, the Democrats are so anti-Trump, but here are a bunch of Republicans that the Democrats had a shot to get. Highly educated, highly affluent, but they understood it's important to have a Republican in this seat, again, broken record, so that we can get something done, tax cuts and tax reform.
Let me ask you this, Ethan, because when you look at the exit polling, overwhelmingly, there was concern that if Ossoff went to Washington, then that district would increasingly be going in the direction of Nancy Pelosi. And it turned out voters there didn't want that. They absolutely didn't want to be heading in Nancy Pelosi's direction. Is she becoming, in your view at all, a liability for the party?
Well, again, I think it's by district, and I think that was a wonderfully effective negative campaign tactic that was used by Karen Handel's people, which was to tie Ossoff to Nancy Pelosi. She is not necessarily popular in Georgia's 6th district. She's not necessarily popular in a number of rural districts across the United States. So again, the Democrats need to do a better job spending the money wisely, targeting the campaigns specifically to the district.
Okay, so you think she's still helping them in L.A.?
Did a great job.
I'm just wondering if they, you know, if she's getting near retirement time, Joe. I mean, you know, I don't think she's doing them a lot of favors at this point.
Look, Ethan's too polite. I'm a Republican, so I know the Democrats are not going to listen to me. Nancy Pelosi needs to retire. She is the biggest albatross the Democrats have if they want to take back the House next year. She doesn't play anywhere in this country except maybe her own home district.
Wow. So why is she hanging on? I mean, has she not realized this? Is there no leadership in the party right now that can tell her this?
She hung on because Trump won. I think if Hillary had won, there was every indication, Trish, that Nancy was going to retire.
Ah, okay. So they're still stuck. I mean, when you look ahead, Ethan, Nancy Pelosi, Joe said it, I'll say it. She's not the future, right, of your party. Bernie Sanders also really isn't the future of your party. And Joe Biden, he's talking about running, but, you know, he's not the future either. Who've you got? What's the message going to be? Ossoff's anti-Trump message, it's not working.
Yeah, it's Cory Booker in my mind. I think he is a strong leader. He's strong out of New Jersey. He has shown a lot of leadership skills. He is excellent, well-spoken. I don't disagree with Joe again. This is so interesting how he and I keep agreeing on things. But it's the same thing in the Democrats, just like within the Republicans, where within the Republican Party, you have the Tea Party caucus, right, that is fighting against established Republicans. The same thing is happening with the Democrats right now. The progressive liberals are fighting against the more moderate Democrats, and this needs to be solved before the 2018 midterms, and the Democrats have to stay on message. And I really do think it's somebody more like Cory Booker than the Nancy Pelosi's or the Bernie Sanders.
We'll be watching. Thank you so much, Ethan and Joe. Good to see you guys. All right.